Welcome to Breaking the Glass Ceiling podcast. We'll be talking about the challenges we all face when we pursue success. We'll talk to individuals and professionals who give us insight and practical advice on how they broke the glass ceiling and actually reached their goals. Our mission is to give you the tools and resources that help you overcome obstacles and unlock your full potential. Our episodes may get a little edgy, so you may want to buckle up and get ready to break those pesky glass ceilings. Now here's your host, a true professional ready to take the journey with you, Celeste Sierra.
Well, welcome, Miguel. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good.
Welcome to Breaking the Glass Ceiling.
Okay.
Do you even know what it is about?
I have an idea, but
Okay,
if you can explain it to me, then maybe I don't want to guess the wrong thing.
My husband was here on my first episode, and he's like, "Yeah, when you talked about it, I thought it was feminist," and I'm like, "No, it is definitely a title that I think has been put on like women breaking the glass ceiling of corporate world and whatnot." But I took it to another level per se because I feel that in any industry, any career, we're always, fighting to break that barrier, to break that glass ceiling that's stopping us from like taking the next step, right? And to just keep on going. So that's basically what it's all about. So I bring a lot of different people from different industries, and I just, go over what they've done in life, how they've gone to where they're at now, what they've accomplished, their successes, their struggles. I want to be very transparent with the information that we give people.
Okay.
I don't want it to be like, oh, it's all, I'm so successful. And, like people need to know what we've gone through, right? And how difficult it's been at times to get to where we're at, right? And so, Miguel, you're a celebrity chef?
Something like that. That's what they call me. They told me to put that on my bio on Instagram. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So, and it was really funny how we met, right? Because we were having a conversation with a group of people, and then we were talking about food.
Yeah.
Literally, we were talking about food and how one of our friends wants authentic Mexican food for her wedding. And you walked into the conversation. It was the craziest thing. I was just like, how does this happen?
That's crazy. What I heard as soon as I walked in. Everybody was like, oh, we're just talking about food. And then
you walk in.
Yeah, I walked in. So it happened. Something.
So tell me, I guess, when or how or where did the passion for, I guess, food and cooking, because you have to have a passion for food, obviously, came from? How did this all started? Give me the very beginning of it all.
So it actually started in a dish room. I started washing dishes right after high school, right? I think everybody coming out of 17, 18 years old, fresh out of high school, you're looking for a job and, get some money for college and stuff like that. That's what I did. And I think that the funny story I always say is that Target didn't want to hire me. So I literally went across. It was still there. The restaurant was still there, but it's Target. And then right behind it, there was a hometown buffet in Montclair. Here in Montclair. Local.
Okay, I was going to ask where. Okay.
Yeah, Montclair. And I remember I went in there and I got hired on the spot, but I got hired for like a salad guy, replenish all the salads and get all that. But I didn't like it. I was there for like, 2-3 weeks, if I can remember correctly. And then I was like, you got any other positions that something a little more fast paced, And like, we got a dish position, like to wash dishes. I was like, I'll try it. Yeah. As soon as I hit like the backside of the kitchen and I heard all the Mexican music and all the Hispanics, I was like, dude, this is where I'm supposed to be.
It just hit you in the heart.
This is where I'm supposed to be. Coming from a Hispanic background, right? So we grew up like that. I grew up going to work with my dad as a young kid. Okay. So I was more involved in like fast paced, hard labor type of stuff. So me like dining, cleaning up tables and doing all that stuff, it wasn't really my thing for me. I didn't really enjoy it as much, right? So I went to the back, started washing dishes, and from there, I got offered an opportunity to cook. I know it wasn't really cooking there, right? But it was an intro for me to that world, and from there I took off. Ever since I didn't stop, and from there I think I went from there to an Acapulco restaurant.
Oh, I remember Acapulco. Not the one in Downey, though, right?
I worked in that one too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't work there, but I used to go there all the time.
Yeah, I worked in that one a little bit, and I started the one in Montclair, and then
Wow.
From there, it took off to 10 years of 2 full-time jobs, and I never stopped.
Wow.
I really found a passion for it, like the drive, the pressure of the kitchen, all that stuff really got to me. So I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And in that process, I was going to Mount Sac.
Okay.
I was going to college, still trying to find what I wanted to do. That wasn't the cooking wasn't really my thing yet. It was more of I need money for.
Were you going to college for just like your general ed, or were you? It was nothing to do with food or anything.
Nothing
like that,
to do
right?
with food.
So
No, I went to college for different things. You know,
Okay.
I was confused.
I think all of us at that age were all confused.
I was confused, and so me being the oldest one in my family of my siblings, I was like, I need to put the example of going to college, getting a degree, like the typical thing, right?
Yeah.
So I went to college. I was doing general ed for a while, and then I went into real estate school, which I think is funny.
You did, really?
At Mount Sac, I was doing I always think it's funny because I was 18, I think. 18, 19, around there. I was going to it was a night class, and I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't even understand this language. I don't even know how to say any of these words.
Right.
Right. But I was coming out of a kitchen, on my days off, I would go into Mount Sac, do my thing. I failed that class epically.
Wow.
I failed it completely, and I was still going to working the weekends, right? And then from there, I also tried different companies and doing life insurance and all that stuff, right?
So you've done it all.
I've tried a little bit of
You've done everything we do here.
And I'm back in the world, right? But I always say like this: the suit and tie really wasn't my thing. I think the apron and the chef coat was really what kind of got to me. So I on the weekends I was still doing dishes, I was still doing prep work and kitchen stuff, and I was like, this is what I really like. I would look forward to go to that instead of going to like a Tuesday, Wednesday meeting. That
is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you actually found your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found my passion. I remember I bumped into a chef there running a kitchen, and he said, "It looks like you like this. Like, go to school for it." So I went to school. And by the time I went to school, I already had like 4 or 5 years of experience under my belt. Right. So I went to school, I graduated, and continued my career.
Culinary school.
Culinary school, yeah.
Which one did you go to?
I went to the Cordon Bleu in Pasadena.
Pasadena,
yeah.
Yep.
So I went there, and honestly, till this day, I still haven't used my degree. but it seems nice. Like I have a degree. I guess I have a degree.
You can talk about it.
I can talk about it. Right? I'm like certified, I guess you can say. But I think in this industry, and I'm assuming yours as well, that it's more the years of experience.
100%.
Years of experience, what you have, what you offer, and what you bring to the table, than more of a degree. So, I mean, I have a degree, it looks nice, but honestly.
And how passionate you are about what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We keep on talking about this over and over again with everyone that's coming.
Yeah.
To the podcast, and everyone says the same thing, right? You become successful when you actually are doing something that you truly love.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're doing it from the heart.
I feel like it's been, actually April this month, it would be 17 years.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I haven't worked a day in 17 years.
That is cool.
Yeah. So, way before I started my own business and kind of branched off my own, I continued in the industry. And I've also done I was a high school teacher for 3 years as well.
You seriously have done it all.
A little bit.
That's so funny.
Nobody ever believes that I was a high school teacher. I didn't really like it too much, but I tried it. So
that is so cool.
I tried a little bit of that.
So I wanted to ask you, how have you navigated through the industry through this industry? I think it's a pretty I don't know how to say it in words, but it has to be tough, right? Like to get through other chefs that have been around already for a long time, or they work at big restaurants or whatever. Like how have you navigated to become the celebrity chef that you call yourself now?
I think it has a lot to do with every location that I've worked at, because I went from restaurants to living centers to sports bars to hotel industry, to teaching, to even working on side, like small side gigs with other people. I think it has to do a little bit with all that, all the experience that I've acquired, and kind of made it my style.
Okay.
This industry is very competitive.
Exactly.
It's also very demanding. So a lot of people don't last. You go to college, you graduate, and it's just, you don't last because it's very underpaid for the first 10, 15 years.
Right.
If you don't have a good position or you're not in a good location, you're not making too much money. You're living paycheck to paycheck, and that's why a lot of people in the industry either bail out or they have 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
And I did that, like I said, for a little over 10 years, just to get by. And then in the mix of all that, I was able to start a business. I was able to acquire the knowledge and all that stuff. But yeah, it's hard, when you're working with chefs that have been in the industry for 30, 40 plus years, to adapt to it, And I think I had to do, for me to be able to adapt to it well, it had a lot to do with my bring up as a kid.
I was just going to get into that.
Yeah, it had a lot to do with it. Because I feel like if my parents weren't as strict or as hard on me growing up, the simple things, cut the grass, help me in the house, even work with my dad, do this, do that. And like just had that pressure of make sure you do it right and the work ethic, all that. I probably wouldn't have lasted in this industry.
Where's your family from?
We're from Durango.
Durango.
Yeah, Durango, Mexico, yeah.
And they came here. You were born here?
Yeah.
You were born here. And then so do you feel, because I always tell everyone, I wasn't born here.
Yeah.
I was born in Mexico. And I came when I was 14. Mexico City.
Oh, nice.
And no, I'm not a chilanga. Even though a lot of people say that I am.
Say that.
No.
Yeah.
I will explain how that, it's no.
It doesn't
I'm
apply.
a capitalina.
Yeah, I get it.
I
It
was
doesn't
born
apply.
there. Right. But being, we talked about this on the last one with my husband, being first generation, do you feel like you had to accomplish more, or it was just in you because of the education or like what your parents, taught you, and they came to this country to give better to us, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel. Like I have to, not that I have to, my parents don't expect anything from me, but I internally in my brain, I feel like, okay, well, they came to give me a better life and I have to do it. I have to push hard and I have to work hard to, thank them for what they did for me.
I strongly agree. I think in my case, I took a little bit more personal because, like I mentioned, we come from a Hispanic background where our parents are in my case, obviously my father figure was my dad. He was put into work at 6, 7 years old, in Los Campos and doing everything he had to do in Mexico, to survive.
Yeah.
As soon as he came here at 17 years old, same thing, go straight to work. You get here one day. If you get here in the morning, you're going to work that same day.
Yeah, I remember my dad. I wouldn't see my dad. Like he would be gone when I would wake up and then come home like at 11 o'clock at night. He was a parking attendant at a parking structure in downtown LA. So I wouldn't see him, but I always knew how hard he worked.
Mm-hmm.
And that has always been ingrained in my mind. Like he was a hardworking man. And so I feel like I got that from him too.
Yeah, of course.
On it all the time.
And I think that's very important. We being first generation, we see that firsthand. I was able to see it because literally they're going to work with my dad, 6, 7 years old. I know I was still going to school, but it was more of the weekend thing or spring break, Christmas break. And I did that all the way through like 14, 15 years old. No, I think more, 16, 17 years old. And then I remember when the recession hit in 2007.
I remember.
Yeah, so he was in
Yes,
my dad's in construction.
Yeah.
All the track homes and all that went down the drain,
Wow, yeah.
So that's when he's like, you got to go find yourself a job.
Wow.
And that's when I went to go work in the hospitality industry.
Right.
But I was so in the mindset of like fast paced, hard labor, so I had to jump into something similar to that.
Yeah.
Right.
You couldn't work in an office.
Oh, heck no. Not even right now. No, it's hard for me, but I was able to find my niche here in this industry and make it work for me.
Is there, you've obviously come far from when you started washing dishes or whatnot. Can you talk about a time that you had to take a risk or take a step out of your comfort zone? Because it doesn't matter how, we're like, there's always like, a space where we're comfortable all the time, right? But that one time where you actually had to step out to make it happen, to like know that you had to do that to accomplish the next thing coming your way.
Yeah. And I think that was a huge chapter in my career and in my life to be where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, you can say, I told you I had a couple years of background in the kitchen already.
Right.
So me I was young, I was 22, I think. Yeah,
wow.
22. I was young, but I was still, learning. I was a little ignorant in life itself. So I went into the hotel business, right? There was an opportunity to run a hotel in Ontario.
Like the restaurant or the actual hotel?
The hotel is itself, like the
So that's another thing you did.
I did that for like 7 years.
Okay, wow.
So I was 23 when I got offered an opportunity to be, you can see, the head chef for the Holiday Inn in Ontario.
Yeah.
So I jumped in and did that with no chef experience. I had graduated, I had my degree, but I didn't have the chef experience. I had a lead cook. I had the the assistant, but I never had the main position, right? Mm-hmm. So I bumped into this guy that my kitchen mentor, a chef with 30 plus years of experience, also Hispanic from Michoacan. He's the one that took my career in the chef industry to a whole different level. Okay. As soon as he met me, he gave me the opportunity. And to answer your question, I was coming from 2 full-time jobs, making, you can say at that point, good money. I was making good money on each job, so it added up to a good paycheck. I was doing very well for myself, to the point where I had to come back and work there to get a huge pay cut.
Wow.
Completely,
Right.
And you can say an executive chef position or head chef position at that time, starting with some experience and a degree at a good location, you're making, I think, starting would probably have been at that time 65, 70 a year, roughly, And I think the first time I say it publicly, I was making $11 an hour.
Wow. That's a huge pay cut.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely huge pay cut.
But you knew that if you took that opportunity, it would probably take you to another level.
It completely took me to a different level.
Right.
I worked under him, and he became my teacher, my mentor. I did about 7 years of just nonstop with him. Wow. I would jump from that hotel to the hotel across the street to be his assistant. So it was back and forth, full time here, full time there. And I right there I learned how to cook in mass production, how to do kitchen finances, how to create scheduling. And from that that's where I opened up my business. A year later, I opened up my catering business. Okay. And I started doing like little backyard gigs while working 2 full-time jobs. And then,
a lot of hard work.
It kind of just took off from there, honestly. From there, that's when they offered me a position to teach. So I went from making $11, $12 an hour. I think it raised a little bit to making almost $50 an hour.
Wow.
Completely huge jump. But I took the school position because it was on Monday through Friday. I was off by 2, 3 o'clock. Right. At that point, I was already getting.
You can still do your gigs.
Yeah, I was still doing my little gigs, and I was getting a little bit more consistent now.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get this job compared to working 7 days a week, weekends, holidays, everything.
It's a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm. So I got a different schedule, and I took my business to a whole different level. And from there, I was like, I'm. After that, I was like, I'm done. I want to focus 100% on my business. I started with a different name. My name was Reyes Catering, which Reyes is a last name. Right. I worked that name for a while. And then when I said, I want to transfer over and create an image for myself as a chef, that's when I took off.
As a celebrity chef.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So your branding change.
100%, yeah.
So tell me, okay, so I'm very curious about this.
Yeah.
Your main focus in catering or food production or whatever you call it, because I don't know the language. Yeah. Is it Mexican food?
No, everybody thinks
it's everything.
It's everything. Yeah.
Okay, so you do it all. Okay.
Yeah, I honestly I didn't want to focus on Mexican food.
Okay.
But I'm very. I don't know if you pay attention to my Instagram. I'm very into my Hispanic roots.
Yes.
So coming from Durango and growing up, going back and forth from there to here, and I'm all about like el rancho and horses and all that. So everybody's like, "Oh, you like Mexican? You all cooking Mexican food?" Like honestly, I love Mexican food, but
who doesn't?
Yeah, but my thing cooking, I don't want to focus on that. I wanted to give people an opportunity to try different types of food. Right. So I've done Indian food, I've done Mexican food, I've done Italian, French, Asian. Asian is my second favorite cuisine. So I love that fusion of Mexican, Asian. So I just, honestly, if you tell me, I love this type of food, whatever ethnicity it is or whatever cuisine it is, I'll make it for you.
Wow. Sure. That is so crazy. That. So, okay. So talking about breaking the glass ceiling, I want you to tell us or to share with us what would you tell whoever's watching? What made you, or what steps did you take whenever you felt like, okay, like there was a barrier and you had to push through it, right? Like we talked about it earlier. How did you push forward? I feel like, a lot of people don't, especially in the food industry. I think there's a lot of people that would love to be chefs. You see all the shows on TikTok and YouTube, and everyone's like doing it. I think it's easier now for people, right, to like show their how they make food or whatever, because you just make a video and they put it out there. But someone that really wants to put what they know into practice and moving forward, like what should they do? Like what if they're stuck and like you've been there, they don't know what to do. Like what step should they take? Like what would you tell them?
Honestly, you said something very important right now. I want to touch on it a little bit. You said anybody can. It's so easy for anybody to post a video on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and go completely viral.
Right.
A cooking video.
Yeah.
A home cook, somebody that cooks in rancho, lo que sea, and go viral, right? And a lot of people, I feel like the young dudes that are coming up that want to be chefs, they get fooled by that. It's like, oh, I want to be a chef. That looks beautiful. I can do that. Or even the Food Network, they make everything look really beautiful.
Yeah.
But the industry itself is you can say, es otro rollo, nada que ver con eso, Yeah. So I was able to do both worlds, a little bit of both.
Right.
So I'm right in the middle, and I know that if you go do something nice on Instagram, it can blow up and looks nice, but the real world is this. Yeah. Right. So I think what I can tell somebody that wants to actually make it in this industry is for sure start from the bottom. Right. Yeah. Even if you're a great cook, you got to start in the industry from the bottom, washing dishes for sure, doing the prep. Because one thing is, I'm a cook at my house for 2-3 people, my family. And one thing is cooking for thousands of people that are walking in with the pressure of, make sure my order comes out right. Make sure that everything, you got the servers yelling at you, you got the chefs yelling at you, you got everybody just pressuring you to produce all this food, or even in the dish room. You got to wash dishes so they can, continue to make more food and use the plates and stuff like that, right? To produce. It's like a recycling thing, right? So if somebody wants to be a chef or wants to start a business like that, start in a restaurant. Start from the bottom.
I think what you're saying is great, because with this world that we live in of social media and we're all doing podcasts and we're all doing food videos and whatnot, right? We think that things can just be done overnight, right? Like you said, it'll go viral right away. But if you really want to make it, you have to put in the work. Mm-hmm. You have to start from the bottom. You have to do that. And it's not an overnight thing. Yeah. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication. Like you said, how many years? 17 years now? 17 years of like going at it day and all the things that all the things you've done, but you've stayed in it and you like continued. And I think that that's great. That's what people need to understand. Like you need to stay in it. If you really love it, you need to continue. You need to move forward, and you just need to work, and don't expect for things to happen for you or achieve success from one day to another.
Yeah. And overnight, at least, like you said, one day to another. Or I think very important is, I don't know if it applies in your industry. This industry applies a lot. Don't change the money. The money is not going to come.
We talk about it in every single episode.
The money's not going to come.
Everybody talks about that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think I started being well for myself until maybe 12 years in. Right. 13 years in, 12 years in, roughly. To where I was able to be, okay, I'm solid, I can, do well for myself. And then that was when you're able to have 2, 3, 4 incomes coming in a month, I was like, dude, you're solid in this industry, right? Right. And that was always my goal, to have multiple incomes coming in what I love to do. Right. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm pretty good. Now it's time to make these right moves financially. Right. But one thing they told me in my industry, one of my mentors was this, and he told me, I'm saying in Spanish because he told me in Spanish, I think it means a lot more, right? He said, no sigas el dinero, no, llénate primero de conocimiento, y el conocimiento te va a llenar tu cartera. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. So pretty much in English means
strong.
Fill your head with the knowledge, and the knowledge will fill your wallet, your bank account.
It'll come. It's like I tell everyone, like you just do good, it'll come right back.
Yeah.
It always does.
And people, I feel like now, Because I used to be like this. That's when I was a little more younger, and I wanted the title of a sous chef or a chef, and I thought that me having the title was going to give me this prestige, was going to give me the money, what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at other guys that were less experienced than me having this title and stuff like that. But I look at them now, and they're still in the same spot.
Yeah.
Because what I did, I learned, and I was able to listen to this guy, and I put in the time, making $11-12 an hour for 7 years. You know, I had to like work with budgets now, and then from there I was like, I took off.
Wow.
And I think that's very important. And I'm sure that your industry is very similar as well, right?
Well, we have our ups and downs,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, it's exactly the same. You know, I've been doing this for 27 years. So in 27 years now it's just more of referral base, and
Yeah.
because I've done it for so long, but same concept, I guess. I've always done well by my clients. Like I have never done what I've done for the money, but it's great to see people get into their forever home or their dream home or whatnot, right? So that feeling that you get from making someone happy without thinking about how much am I making, like I think it's just something that you cannot fulfill just by thinking about money.
Absolutely.
Ever. So that's my come from, but and it seems like yours is too. So now I want to talk about what do you have coming up soon. I heard rumors. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Hopefully, good rumors.
So you're still doing the catering
Not really.
because you're working on.
So I transferred from catering to I did catering for like 6-7 years, and then I jumped into personal chef.
Right.
I've done personal chef for another, you can say, roughly 7 years, going on 7. And through this whole time, I'm transferring now over to building, you can say, a restaurant, right? I want to. My next move is to open up a restaurant. I have a plan of opening up overall. I want to say 3 restaurants, right?
That's amazing.
What I want to do is create this system, right? The system to be able to give employment to people, right? And then my overall goal is to create leaders in my industry and out of my industry. Right. Younger people that are coming up, or people that are even my age or a little older, that are looking for that guidance, that don't have the experience yet or haven't been through what I've been through. To be able to push them to be like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what you don't need to do, right? So because I felt like I'm where I'm at now, first of all, because first of God, and second of all, because of the people that He's put in my life,
right?
And I was able to listen to them. You know, that's very important. People can come and help you, but if they can tell you all they want, all their knowledge,
but if you don't listen,
if you don't apply it, it's not going to work.
Right.
And I feel like I've been able to apply it because every person that's came into my life for my career has been a blessing for sure.
So this is your exciting project and venture coming up, and I hope we're invited to the grand opening.
Oh, happy! I came to yours, so yeah.
Oh, that's right. You did come to mine, so yeah, I better be invited.
Yeah.
And the guys wanted to know if we're gonna do another podcast soon with you, and you're gonna come and cook with us.
Of course. You know, I actually did it one day. I did it one day for like a radio podcast type of thing.
Yeah.
And we did it. We made it fun. What they made me do is go to the store, and I went to a 99-cent store.
Oh wow!
I went to a 99-cent store and said, grab whatever you want,
and then cook something amazing.
Gourmet.
Wow.
So I went. Cool. I remember I went in there and there was like the mole that I remember. I forget the name of it, the mole, and I got that. I was like, there has to be some type of protein here. So I forgot what I grabbed. We were like protein stuff, and then I made them with the little portable stove.
Yeah.
I made them I don't remember what I made, but I made them a nice gourmet dish. I was like, wow. Oh, the pasta.
I was gonna say pasta de mole,
something like that.
Really?
With a little bit of cream. It was something.
I love
like
mole, by the way.
Yeah, so it was good. So I was like, if you want something, we can do something like that. Something.
Oh, you're so cool.
Or we make it fun, or even you can cook. I'll just.
Oh, I'm a great cook.
Yeah.
I should be celebrity chef too.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think my husband would agree to that with that one. No, he actually says this is funny. He always tells me, well, before we got married, you used to cook for me all the time, and now that we're married, you never cook. I'm like, I had to do something to get you. Next, I'm gonna hire Chef Miguel to come and cook for him.
Whatever you guys like. He's Hispanic as well.
Yes, you didn't meet him? He was here.
I think so. I probably did.
Yeah, you did.
I met a lot of people that day. So
okay, so we talk about your exciting projects and ventures, which I'm super excited about. Okay. I think it's amazing when you come from nothing, right? Like we were not born with money. You know, our parents work really hard, and then you get to a point in life where you're actually building a business, and a restaurant. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's not an easy thing at all. I have friends that have done that and have gone through restaurants. And I've actually had conversations with other restaurant owners, and they've told me it is one of the industries that's probably the hardest to keep alive.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's 24/7 dedication.
Yeah.
Like it's not like here where you know, I'm not here on weekends.
Yeah.
I still work, but I don't have to be here. You have to be present.
You have to be. I think you have to create a strong system to run a restaurant, have the right team, have the right people, and at that point you can back up a bit.
Right.
You know, my goal is not to be beamed in the restaurant my whole life. You know, I
Right.
did that already. I've done that for so long, 17 years, that I can grab all this information I've learned, create a strong system, and be the face of it.
Right.
Back up, and then work on another one, and
Yeah.
create that one and back up. Right. So that's kind of the overall goal that I want to do.
And I think that's the difference too, because you're actually going in with the idea of building others
Yes.
up so they can run it eventually for you.
Yeah.
And then you can like go to Mexico and go to the rancho
Yeah.
and have fun with the horses.
Yeah. Or at my house.
At your house.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's amazing. I'm really excited. I am blessed that I've met you and that my friends met you, and they're probably going to have you at their wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Cooking for them. But, you know, things happen for a reason. And I somehow, I always talk about this. Whenever you think and you picture things in your mind and you manifest what you want in life and the people that you want to surround yourself with, it happens. And I've been blessed enough to be surrounded with a lot of individuals who are business owners and they're self-employed, and they have done exactly the same thing that you're doing, the same thing that I've done, which is start for nothing and bring it up. And one of my greatest things right now, I feel, it's being able to bring all of you here to talk about your experiences and bring the value that we need to put out there in the world. You know, again, with social media, there's so much negativity and so much stuff that it's just downloaded onto kids nowadays. And I feel like someone needs to come in and just be like positive, but positive from a way of it takes hard work, but keep at it and do it from the heart and be a good person. You know, I think that when you're a good person, everything just comes into play and everything is just great.
Yeah, I think so. I think, and going on what you're saying is something that always helped me, and I think I'm still continuing to apply it and will apply it, is you got to be very selfless, you know, super, super selfless in the industry. I think that if you want to be a leader or a manager or a boss at one point, business owner, before you even get to there, you have to be a servant, 100%. You have to be a servant and be able to do what other people won't do without expecting nothing of it.
Yeah.
I remember going to work, clocking in, clocking out, and people would get mad because they're like, aquí no te agradece nada. People don't say thank you to you. It's like, bro, you're getting a paycheck.
Complaining.
Yeah, you're getting a paycheck, bro. They're not going to say thank you to you.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the attitude that I feel like you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
Don't go at a workplace or try to get recognition from other people, because sometimes it's 90% to 95% of the time it's not going to happen.
Right.
You know, you're there to do your job regardless if somebody says thank you or not. And you're there to do your
100%.
job regardless if somebody watches you or not.
Yeah.
You know, yo siempre dije, yo quiero hacer mi trabajo para quedar bien conmigo mismo.
Exacto.
No para quedar bien con
nadie.
Con nadie.
Ajá.
Porque al fin de cuentas, no les gusta, te corren o te vas, y they stay there.
Next,
The
el que
location.
sigue.
Yeah, el que sigue, y así es. So before being a leader, I think you have to be a servant 100% and continue to have that servant mentality when you're a leader as well.
You have something on your Instagram profile. So you have chef, celebrity chef, and then I can't remember exactly the words, but something about God.
God first.
God first.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I grew up in a Christian home, right? Where I was always instilled that, you know, growing up until now. And I've been speaking about it very, very recently, that I feel like if God is not in the center of anything that you do in life, I don't think you would prosper. you know, and I'm telling you from personal experience, you know. I don't think it has a lot to do anything to do with religion. It has to do with just believing in God and really putting your focus in Him. And it comes from, you know, when you want to start a business, relationships, when you want to do something in life, you put God first, pray about it, number one, and then work at it. You know, God is you can pray all you want, and if you don't work at it, God's not gonna give it to you. You know, work at it, put God first, and continue to do that. And I strongly believe God will bless you through it for sure.
I love that. I think, again, you put it out there in the world and it just happens automatically, because I feel like every person we've had so far on the podcast, they come from the same background, like the same mentality of like putting God first, and God will just help you through anything if you just put Him, and like you said, specifically in the center of everything that you do.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I recently I went to late last year in December, I went to Israel.
Okay.
So I grew up Christian as well, and you know, God has always, you know, been in my life. But going to Israel was absolutely, you have to go. That has to be your one thing.
Yeah.
I came back and I could not believe it was like bringing the Bible to life.
Absolutely.
It literally, I mean, I've always been a follower, but it just transformed me in such a way that I, even now more than before, I put everything that I do in His hands. Before every podcast that we record, the guys don't know that, but I always say a prayer, you know, to make sure that everything that comes out of this will guide someone, will help someone, will do something positive in their life. And that's why I remember seeing your Instagram. I was like, wait, it was something about God. So I love that about you too. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. Any last words that you want to share? Anything you want to share with us that could help anyone that's listening, watching?
Honestly, I think I hit all the points that I wanted to, talk about.
Good.
I think, like I mentioned, always keep your feet on the ground. No matter what position you have, don't let, in my case, because I have a chef coat, my title or a title, don't let that distinguish you as a person. 100%. At the end of the day, I can take this off and I'm still Miguel.
Yeah.
I can put on a doctor coat. I don't know what they're called or whatever.
Dr. Miguel.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm still Miguel at the end of the day, and I think that's very important to always remember who you are, where you came from, and how can you impact somebody's life outside of social media, which I think is very important. How can you impact somebody's life in anywhere you go, at a restaurant, wherever you're hanging out with your friends? How do you impact people's lives? People, you're a walking testimony. You're like a walking billboard, especially if you're in a place where people already know you because of social media or because of what you do. And I get that every once in a while I bump into people that I've cooked for, or you're the chef from Instagram. Always keep a professional and keep an image for yourself, Yes. So I think that's very important.
100%.
So I think
I believe it. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. I really, really loved it. Thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like you said, social media, they just see us with the stuff that we post.
Yeah.
And of course, like everyone, we post the nice things, right?
Yeah.
But then nobody knows what's behind that and what's been before and the years prior to where we're at now. So thank you so much for sharing your story, where you've been, where you're going. We're very excited for you, and we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
Many blessings, and we can wait for the next podcast where you're going to cook for us.
Yeah, I'll do it. No, next one we'll do something nice. We can do it at the ranch if you like. We'll do something.
Yes, let's do it at the ranch. All right.
With the horses ready now.
It's on. Yeah. He said it. It's on video. All right, cool.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Miguel.
Thank you for joining us on Breaking the Glass Ceiling. We hope you feel empowered to break free from limitations that hold you back, so achieving your dreams is now possible. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of our inspiring conversations. But before we go, we want to remind you that you are capable of greatness, and by joining us next time, you can start shaking off that self-talk so you can move forward. That's one step closer to breaking the glass ceiling.